I want to explain. I want to explain why Italy has been doing so badly in this coronavirus pandemics, pandemia, pandemics, pandemic. Sorry, I'm confused. I speak so many languages that sometimes I just mix them. There are several reasons, I think. Mistakes our government made. Part of Italy that is very polluted, and timing and not truthful information. First, mistakes. Italian government didn't allow direct flights from China, but let stopover flights come here. So there was no quarantine for Chinese people entering Italy. Second thing, there are a lot of entrepreneurs in Italy that, cause of globalization, instead of having Italian work for them, they have Chinese people work for them just for dough, money. Okay? So many of these people were traveling back and forth to China, where they have their products made, their factories. And these were exactly in the same places where the contagion started. So we have a mix of pollution, highly polluted places of Italy, the most polluted in Europe, people going back and forth to China, entrepreneurs, okay? No check on stopover flights from China. Political party, so-called left wing, called Haga Chinese, because people were rightfully so. It's not a problem of being racist. It's a problem of being intelligent. I'd say if I go to whatever country and people don't know, for example, I stay in Greece and people don't know where I've been before, because it's most likely that people from China could have gone to China and back, because you go back to your country. If I were in Greece and people were wary of me because I'm Italian, I would be perfectly right. They would be perfectly right. I'm okay with that. People don't know. People don't know. Even if I say, oh no, I haven't been to Italy recently. Obviously, even Greek people could have been to Italy recently, but people don't know. There's a high risk that an Italian or a Chinese have been to their mother country and back. Fatherland. That's a good reason. And people from PD, I would say poorly demented, but anyway, this Partito Democratico, said, hug a Chinese, and the secretary of this party, that's poetic justice, got the coronavirus because he were hanging around in apericena, aperiparties, kind of parties, with other people. That's a good reason. Second reason why could spread all over Italy. The day before they were closing the north part of Italy, there was a leak. People knew that. All people, like a ship who's sinking, the mice and rats go out, escape. Those people at 11 o'clock were in all stations train station trying to go back to there, and they let them go. They let them go. You can imagine all these people near each other in trains, going everywhere in Italy. Does it seem normal in a normal country? It doesn't seem normal at all. But they escaped literally with that, got away with that, literally got away with that fucking virus. That I will add some things on that. But now they take on people having a little walk, letting their pets shit on the street, and collecting the shit and putting in dustbin and whatever. The problem is, if you're far at a safe distance from another person, that's not a problem. Am I running on my own? Now they are picking on people who running near their place, and there's like a witch hunt. But they let people from China enter Italy just because they had a stopover somewhere else. They said you can hug a Chinese. People came back and forth from China, Italians, in the previous period. So you should check all the risk categories, and people who have been several times to China should have been checked and quarantined. That did not happen. Because some things that I'm Italian, I mean, I'm mostly Italian, but I speak English. There's a reason why, but that's not important. Part of what people say about Italy is fucking true. No serious country with no serious government would have done what they have been doing. Okay? So, making people feel guilty just because they walk on their own. If I'm walking on my own. I don't touch anything. I don't touch my eyes. I don't touch my mouth. And I just walking at a very safe distance from another person. That's not a problem. People boarding a train, getting on a train, and going everywhere in Italy from the places that are more infected. That's a fucking problem. Do you get me? That's why I'm so mad, not only at the government, but at the Italian people who are not protesting against the fucking mistakes, and there we are paying with people's lives. Okay? Do you get me? 2 days, what happened? People were all over Italy. They came from north, the so-called red zone. Okay? That means where the pandemics is all over the place, so to speak. 2 days after that, knowing that we could have, they made a big mistake. It was quarantine for the whole of Italy. That means we are not allowed to work. We are not allowed to go to work. And now not even factories. That means if this situation keeps on like this, continues, we will have a shortage of, I don't know, things that we need. My car breaks, I cannot have it fixed. My computer breaks, I cannot have it fixed. If I have a problem, health problem, there is so many people there that it's very likely that even people who don't have COVID would die because they cannot get medical attention. Do you understand me? Other problem, we paid so much money to the European Union. We paid so much money for illegal immigration, and France and Germany obligated us to get them, and they don't want them in France and in Germany. That means even hospitals were dismissed and used for immigration. You know that? That's one of the problems. We don't have enough beds for sick people, and the system, the way it is now, is not the way it was 10 or 15 years ago. 10 or 15 years ago, we could probably have enough beds to manage this problem. One of the problem neoliberalism is this: you don't pay the price immediately. When push comes to shove, people are going to die. And I say something, a country that didn't do anything to get rid, a country who is potentially rich, richer than Germany, potentially, than France, and then even the United Kingdom, because Italy was set on being one of the richest European and world countries before they change everything and they switch to the new system, the capitalistic system that doesn't work at all, like communism. Okay? I'm gonna tell you something more. Health is first and foremost, and in Cuba, people do not have problem with their medical system. So you want to keep a capitalistic system, just adjust a little bit. Don't overdo it. But they overdid it, because they are freaky, gluttonous, greedy morons. Okay? And people are the same, because if somebody exploits you and you don't do fuck all, you are guilty as well. You're responsible of your situation, mainly when we are the majority, the overwhelming majority of people. Okay? Do you understand me? Other things, we don't fucking know the percentage of people who are infected. How can you give me statistics about the percentage of mortality, people who die, when you don't know how many people have the fucking virus? I'll tell you that. Because many important people, many people who have the virus, that means this virus is all over the place. It's spread. Maybe I had it. I had a bad flu. Not with a lung problem, but I had a bad flu some months ago. Maybe it was that and I didn't know it. Maybe I'm getting it. I don't know. But it's fucking spread. It's really spread. That means if we compare the people who die, and there are people who die, I mean, hospitals are overwhelmed. I don't say, oh, there's no virus and no problem. I'm trying to explain how severe it is, because if it's a small amount of people who are infected, the means that has been taken are right, because it spreads more. There'll be a lot of people in hospitals and they cannot take care of them, but it's much more spread than we know. It means that these measures are overkilling. You understand? One problem, the fucking swabs are not precise. Okay? So there is a problem of how precise they are and how expensive it is to test everybody. So there is a problem. I don't say I'm right, I have all the solutions, but I try to see things for a 300% angle. Oh, okay? So, how many people really died? It's very difficult because these most of them, not everybody, but most of them would have died maybe in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years time. Some people even some months time, and some people would have died anyway without the coronavirus. So we have people who for that died a little bit before their time cause of the virus, and people who have died anyway but they have virus, so they are considered to be dead because of the virus. I'll give you an example. I have a lung problem and I'm going to die. This lung problem is not caused by the virus, but there are lung problems that are there regardless of the virus. I would be counted in the people who died of the virus, okay? So, for a society, it's important to keep an open mind. Life expectancy. I am inclined to think that if we see things for life expectancy, the whole situation is just a little bit serious than what it seems to be. Life expectancy, I mean, if most of people die at the age of 30, life expectancy is much lower, okay, in statistics. So, at the end of 1 year from now, we'll compare data from this year with the previous year, and I will see. I'm serious. I will, if I'm alive, and if you are alive, we'll see that after 1 year. So my understanding, I'm not 100%. Is a hint. Is how to put it? Insight I have. It's much more dreadful, all things considered, than what it appears to be and what they want us to think. Other things, surely being confined at home, in a way, limits the contagion. But the problem is to what is the idiom in English? Throw away the baby with the dirty water. That means you have to balance a contingent. That's a problem that it's for 2 months, because more than 2 months they cannot keep a quarantine, otherwise we will rebel, okay? And the amount of money you don't earn and you don't have to cure people, generally speaking, regardless of virus. If a country doesn't have money, cannot have a health system. Without a health system, you die or whatever happens to you. Not only the coronavirus. Like in a war, when do war ends? When a country cannot afford that loss of people. When you can afford that loss of people, I'm not for wars, but I'm speaking in general, you keep on fighting. I mean, a country when it's at war knows that some of their own people will die, okay? So you cannot, the real problem of the virus, I give an example. It's a very cynic, I'll tell you, if we can accept that a lot of people die, we let the virus win a war, but we win another war. It's an amount of dead people we think it's expendable to keep our society work. That's what happens in wars. A country prefer to fight another country and letting is young people die, and that is since they're young, the life expectancy is much more lower. So you take from people 50, 60 years of their life out, no? When you die, you're 20 or 30. So we allowed hundreds of people to die, hundreds of thousands of people to die for a reason. Well, that's what America did, I think wrongly, when it made war, had this war, wage war at terrorism and so on and so forth. They allowed people to die to preserve their security and a system of life. We don't want anyone to die, and we ruin our system of life forever, or for the decades to come, in order to preserve some lives without statistics, without being even sure that in the long run the life expectancy over the previous year and this year's is much different. So there are always a political decision when it comes to this situation. We don't have to think only in health, from the health point of view. Doctors obviously tend to save lives. Doctors don't know shit about economics. Doctors think they're aiming to save life in the short run. Politics should save lives in the long run. There's a point where you say, sorry, we haven't won this war. We won't, don't, it's like losing good money after bad money. I mean, you invested in something, this doesn't work. Should you insist on putting money and effort in something, or should you at a certain point understand that this is not going to work, so you let things go to the dogs? It's a tactical retreat, okay? It's a tactical retreat. Nobody ever thought about this. People are scared to death. They are shitting in their pants, and they think that this virus is, people die. People die for pollution, people die for several reasons, and we never put a stop to it. China? China decided to pollute their country with thousands of deaths in order to develop their economy. We're doing just the opposite. I don't say that China is right. I want to put things into perspective, okay? We don't... it's 6,000 people dead. It's a lot. It's not a lot till now, considering we are 60 million people. It's not a lot considering many of these people would have died anyway. There should be some algorithm. I'm not that good, but we should have some statistical way to think people, how many years of life we lose, because people anyway die, sooner or later die. So we should accept this anyway, okay? So only when we didn't see death anymore, we don't have trucks with coffin inside, or army trucks with coffin inside. So this is a very powerful propaganda video, okay? We never consider that when it comes to cancer, how many people get cancer from pollution, from chemical things that are in our food. in our system. When we build things in our house, glues and whatever it's used to build things. Okay, we never considered that. And we never looked into the death because of this. You know why? Because our system is based on getting money. There are multinational brands and whatever that call the shots. You understand? And this system is like we are getting rid of old people who don't consume much over 70, and they are not productive. That's the mind of the system. Okay, so this situation is good for us. So let's put on an act that we're saving people, closing everything, making some countries, getting some countries on their feet, countries that they don't like because they are competitive. Italian is highly competitive without European Union's chains. Let's see how competitive it was before the post 2090s. In the 80s were highly competitive. That's why they wanted Italy to get into this system, not to be able to get their own money without debt. Okay? This system is fucking wrong. It's against Italy. Okay, I sometimes I don't find the right words. Excuse me, but I live in Italy. I don't speak English on a daily basis, and I follow the news in Italian. And sometimes I don't get the right word, but I think you understand me perfectly. So I try to see the situation globally in all in approach. I'm considering everything. The other thing is loss of our freedom and liberties. You know, when you get something you like it, because everybody likes to be in power, mainly people who so they can do their business and traffics freely, like Amazon. Amazon is, oh god damn, I can't sell things to Italians because all shops are fucking closed, and I can be a competition in this moment, and it's not moral, it's not right, but we as a multinational, we are getting rich out of this. Italian should say yes, but you pay a tax because our shops, our business are closed. That's an unfair advantage. They're not doing this because these people are fucking sold to hidden powers, multinationals, and the neoliberal system that's against the people. So I'd say, all things considered, I prefer to, I know I can die, but I prefer to be free in the years to come, like Great Britain did it. Great Britain say, we are going to lose a lot of people, we're not succumbing to the Nazi. We're not saying, we are fighting all over the place, in the skies, on the land, and on the sea, and even under the sea. These were people who had the cojones, if you understand. These have the balls to do that. No, we prefer to give in not only to the virus, but all the system that will get a lot of the money advantages from all this situation. We should limit the losses. Like in war, nobody wants soldiers to die. Nobody wants it. but they know there's something higher at stake, and here there is something higher at stake. We're not to lose a higher percentage of our population. Not by a long shot. We have the death that Germany had in the Second World War, that America had in one day, maybe, in the Second World War. And we are speaking about death that started 1 month ago, okay? So I'm sorry to say that, but we always know that people die. Sometimes you can die for a reason. I don't want people to die all the same and we ending like slaves. There's a 30-minute speech, but so now you understand the Italian situation and what is at stake here. So I'd say, I never say that about my videos. You know, I play the guitar. I'm not a big singer. I'm not a big player. I like country music. This is not a channel. But I don't want you to watch my videos but what I'm saying now is very important. Okay? It's very important. If you can share it and have some light on the Italian situation and what is at stake here. Goodbye. Thanks for watching.